Pisces, I always say Pisces last, but definitely not least. Pisces Moon. Okay, so Pisces Moon. A Pisces Moon person is very emotional. They are sensitive. They are freaking psychic. So they do very well when they don't necessarily have to communicate things verbally, but they can observe a person and soak in that person's freaking being. You know, they're very supportive. Like a Piscean Moon person would put their selves to the side to show up and be there and support their partner. They are great supporters. A lot of times where this is like I'm sensitive to this is because like I don't like for them to lose their identity for someone else. So it's easy for them to blend in. They're gonna be very romantic because they're gonna want to live like this fantasy life. And they're going to want that dream. They're going to want that dream of like a relationship that's like a soulmate type of relationship. And you do things together and you go to romantic journeys together. And that romantic journey could be laying in your bed or laying in the back of a truck staring at the stars and the moon and the sun and like just spacing out. It's very good. The reason why they always say Pisces does good with Scorpios is because see, Scorpios is water signs too. But the fact that Scorpios are so freaking dependable and loyal and stuff like that, a Piscean person feels very comfortable with the Scorpio because the Scorpio is going to be a supporter. So even when Pisces is off in La La Land trying to fulfill their dreams and stuff, the Scorpio is not going to let anything happen to them. Okay, that's why they say they're compatible because it's like, okay, yeah, I know she's off again. The thing about Pisceans is because they could be indecisive, like they represent duality, so they could feel like, okay, this relationship is not fulfilling me, you know, the way I want to get out of it, but then again, I don't know about doing this or doing that. Now the Piscean males though may tend to be more along the line. Piscean moon sign males or maybe tend to be along the line to be like, okay, well, I'm not really getting this fantasy life. I'm not really getting my emotions met. And their emotions could be real simple or it could be all the way to you don't share some source of fantasy with them. Okay. And if they feel like you're not paying them a certain amount of attention or you're not providing a certain amount of emotional, you know, kind of like, you know, yeah, I just really can't wait to see you. You're the best. Like, you make all my dreams come true. If you can't really provide that type of intimacy for them, they may feel neglected and they may feel like they have to search elsewhere. They're in constant need. A Piscean moon person wants a soulmate. They want someone that is like a godsend, like, because they're connected to Neptune. Neptune is their ruler. So they're going to want that grand gesture. They're going to want like the universe itself to crack open and drop their soulmate down on earth. Okay. They're going to want all of the experiences. See, they want experiences just like the Sagittarius does. Their experience though it has to be like deep and profound and almost like it's just them and their lover out in the middle of some fairyland and they're rolling in the grass together and they're sexually involved but the emotions is pouring in and consuming them both and the alarm clock rings and it's time to get up and go to work the next day. You see what I'm saying? It's like that. So the Pisces partner though is dynamic. They're just like secretive and personal with it. So like a lot of times they shut themselves out to the outside world because they feel like they have to guard themselves. I'm not saying that on the outside world they cannot be open or anything, but they tend to mimic other people. So the Piscean they tend to put other people's feelings above theirs because they don't want to hurt other people. That's why. A lot of people try to say it's because Pisceans don't have an identity. It's not that they don't have an identity necessarily. It's just because they cannot fathom, as sensitive as they are, they cannot fathom just like hurting someone else. I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying a lot of times that's why they put other people's needs first. And the Piscean moon is no different. They're going to want to be about their relationships. They're going to be kind of secretive and private. because, you know, they want to keep that intimacy in. You know, they want to share that with their partner. They're going to want your emotions. Okay. They're going to want to provide stability. They're going to want to provide stability for a partner's emotions. They're going to want to support the partner. So it doesn't matter. Like, and this wasn't a Pisces moon person, but this was a female, a Pisces female. You know, like, she was in the situation with this guy, or she was, I guess, seeing this guy or whatever, and she had like kids, and she specifically said, you know, oh yeah, he doesn't help me take care of my children, but that's okay. I don't want to make him anything, and it's because I don't want to make anybody do nothing that they don't want to do. And that sounds good to a person that's trying to get their way, but you know what I said? I was like, I don't think so. I was like, look, I'm just not about making somebody do something they don't want to do. It's about, you know, the reality of it. It's about, no, you help me create the child, so we need to come up with something. I said it's not about going out getting bloodshed. It's about saying, no, you have to own up to your responsibility as well, and stating, like, I cannot do this alone. Not saying, well, I can barely make it, but I'm gonna let them do whatever. I'm gonna let him make his choice. You gotta let the person make their choice, but it's not about saying, yeah, you go off and do whatever you want while I suffer. So, you know, the Piscean moon, they have that whole support thing going on as well. So Piscean moons, they are secretive, sensitive, intuitive, imaginative, creative, deep, indecisive, emotionally available, and emotionally committed. And that's all for now. Until next time. Talk to you later.